Hey everyone in the YouTube world, my name is Craig from Flying Wheels. Welcome to my Flying Wheels YouTube channel. I own a car dealership called Flying Wheels. You guys might be following me already, you might be subscribing. If you are, thank you so much for the support. If you're not already, click down below to learn more car tips and tricks, as well as some business knowledge, and hopefully I can help you make some money. 10 plus years ago, I moved back to New Hampshire with my pregnant wife, and I started my car dealership in New Hampshire. Now, I owned one in Florida, and that's where I originally began, in Orlando, Florida. I started in my driveway. I had very little money to no money. Very little to no money. I was like 22 when I first started getting into the business, 23 by the time I was licensed, still with very little money in my driveway. I ended up selling that business, moving back home to New Hampshire so I could start a family, be with family, and grow my business. Well, I moved home, had some cars in my driveway. My new neighbor hated it, called the police on me anytime there was a new car in the driveway, forced me to get my own business, to get my own location. So I actually do owe them a thank you. If you old bag are watching this video, thanks for the push. It turned out to be pretty well in the long run. So anyway, I didn't know what to do. I couldn't afford anything. Again, I did sell my business, but I bought a house and I spent all my money on the house and moving back home. So I had to start a business and help support my life, my family, my wife, all of it. So what did I do? Started a car dealership again. How do you do it when a car dealership is like 10 grand a month to run? Typically, you go see a retail car dealer, like on Main Street, they're spending 25 grand a month in overhead just to run their business. Never mind selling cars. You have to make 25 grand a month just to cover, just to break even. Then the rest is profit. That's a big nut to crack, and it's stressful as hell. It's scary. So what did I do? Kept my expenses low. Always. I have always kept my expenses low, which leads me to this video. This right here was my first car dealership ever in New Hampshire. It's tiny, it's small, but it had low risk, low overhead, and it made it super easy for me to run my business. I'm gonna give you a walk around of my first ever car dealership in New Hampshire that helped me grow to what I have now today. So this is it. This is where I started. You'll see I even still have some cars here. It is so cheap to run the business out of this place, and it has made me so much money over the years that I couldn't bring myself to get rid of it. It was a lot cleaner when I owned it and actually used it full time, so now it's kind of just storage. But you'll see it's a 1,200 square foot industrial building. This is it. It's just a warehouse. Basically, it's a large garage that was zoned appropriately with an office. So here's my office. I still have all my stuff. Now, I never use this place, so you'll just see that just stuff is being stored here. It was a lot cleaner when it was my business because obviously I'd have customers come in. But we have a bathroom here, compressor here, sink and mirror. It was enough to fit 5 cars. So I could do, like when it snowed, I could do 2 cars here, 2 cars there right next to each other, and one squeezed right up here during a snowstorm. So you walk up, all my storage, all my parts were up here. You can see the stairs wiggle. It still scares the hell out of me. We didn't even have a lift when I started here. We detailed cars right here. We stored cars up there. I'd work on 2 cars at a time. We detail them. So obviously we don't use this place much, but it still pays for itself over and over and over, so much so that I can't get rid of it. Now, I always talk about calculated risk. I was freaking scared to move into this place because it was $1,000 a month plus expenses, plus your utilities, plus your phone, plus your internet. Well, I've always kept things cheap, so it's 5 minutes from my house. So a lot of stuff I could do from my house. So I didn't even have internet. I just kept the internet at my house. I'd post my ads. I'd do everything at my house. And then I'd come into the garage to get my work done. I used my personal cell phone for my sales calls, so people would call me directly, so no matter where I was, they could always get in touch with me. I didn't always have to be here. It was 5 minutes from my house, so I'd have a customer come out. I knew they were coming. I'd say, call me when you're 5 minutes away, and I'd just shoot back over to my shop and meet them here. Then I'd show them the car. Again, the garage was a lot cleaner when they'd show up. We'd go in my office, write the paperwork, they'd drive home. I got my license through here. Now, even still, I talked about how it was $1,000 a month. This is $1,000 a month plus utilities. So it was scary for me to dive right into. I didn't know how I'd be able to afford it, if I could afford it. I remember parking my first car right here. It was a wide open, clean garage, completely empty. It was a 96 Saab convertible 900S that was cranberry red. I still have a picture of it parked right there. That was my first car that I ever bought to park here. And I ended up making enough money off that car to pay the rent in this building the first month. Now, even still, it's a big nut to crack. I didn't know what I was going to do, so I got partners. And by partners, I mean my father and my brother. All three of us were interested in selling cars. We didn't really know what to expect in the state of New Hampshire. So we all went in and we split everything by a third. So basically this unit cost me $333 a month to run, which is nothing. And that's really what started it and what got me to jump in. So it was $333 a month. Within the first car, it would pay for this place for 3 months. So it was unbelievable. Now my brother got more into auto body. My father lived 2 hours away, so he never came down. So he kind of fell off. My brother got into other things. He is an amazing, amazing Nissan 240 guru. And my Eagle Talon, if you guys follow my Eagle Talon videos, is going to him to get that one restored. He's incredible and a talent, but he wasn't here all the time because he lived kind of far away too. So it ended up that we all went in a third, and a third, but they never used it. And my car dealership, my side of selling, just skyrocketed. It just took off. So over time, they kind of diminished, and I consumed the place. So it worked out really well that eventually I could afford this place on my own. I could afford this place on my own right from the beginning, but they were such a huge help for me to really begin my business because it helped lower the risk with them sharing my expenses. So if you are afraid to start a car dealership, I would recommend going in a partnership. Now, partnerships are freaking tough. They are hard and almost never work out unless you guys are both perfectly matched. And it's worse than a marriage, because a marriage, you guys can fight, but in a business, you're together all day, every day, and you have to share your finances like a marriage. So, and you have tax implications. So you're paying tax. What happens when this property or this business makes $1 million, but I'm the only one working? Well, everyone's going to want a piece, right? Or not? I don't know. And that's where it depends on having a good partner. If your partner understands that, hey, you did all the work and you guys have an agreement ahead of time, then it might work. Now, what we did that really worked was I bought my cars. I sold my cars. I kept my cars. I paid my third of the bill. That was it. So if I sold a car, I made $1,000. That $1,000 was mine, and I paid my share of the expenses. My brother restored a car. He made $1,000. He kept that $1,000, and he paid his share of expenses. My father did the same for what he wanted. So we kept everything separate, and that made it a lot easier. So I wouldn't sell a car and make $1,000, do all the work, buy it, spend my money, clean it, sell it, show it, and then we split the $1,000 3 ways. That wouldn't be fair. That would just cause an argument. So we didn't have to do it that way, and that made it really successful. I did my part of the business. They did their parts of the business, and then we paid our taxes at the end of the year. It helped us all. Now, tax is what makes it difficult. You need a CPA. You need a good accountant if you're going to have a partnership, because you can't just rent your license out. I know so many people rent their licenses out, and it's such a huge risk. That's your life. Your credit score's on there. They check your background for a criminal record. They thumbprint you. Everything is there on the line for you to get a dealer's license. And if your partner screws up, then you screw up. If your partner does something wrong, then you do something wrong. It's such a risk. If your partner doesn't pay his share of the taxes, then you're liable. There is so much that could go wrong having a partnership, so you need to make sure you trust them. You need to make sure that they're going to do their part. You need to make sure that you have an agreement in place at the very, very beginning in writing. That way, if anything ever happens on the back end, you can always just go back to your operating agreement that you've all signed and agreed on. That makes it a lot easier. So if a guy is selling all cars for cash and not claiming it, not reporting it, that's your partner, and you are, and he gets caught, you're in trouble. So you need to make sure everything's going the right way. And that's why I don't recommend people rent their licenses out. That is so risky. You can't rent your license to somebody and hope they're going to do well in your business, because you're not renting your license, you're renting your entire business, including your tax ID, your EIN number, your employment identification number. All those things are in your name. If you're going to rent it out, it's going to fall back on you. You're going to get hurt, and it's going to kill you. So be careful about that. But if you're going to go into a partnership, there's no problem with it as long as you have an operating agreement in place at the beginning. It's so great to share your expenses. It takes away 50% of the risk, 1/3 of the risk, 2/3 of the risk, whatever it is. It takes away a lot of that risk and insecurity and helps you grow your business. Let's go outside to the backside because there's tons of space, and I'll show you where I stored all my cars. So here we go. Down in the last unit. Now I own this building now. You'll see the next story, the next video is coming up about this building. If you haven't seen, if I haven't shown it yet, it's coming out or it just came out. I just bought this entire building. So this one unit right here helped me buy this entire property. This is how it all began. Now I have storage over here for all my extra cars, my overflow, the stuff I don't want to keep at my new lot, my retail lot. This is where the cheap cars go. I would keep them there. And then right along this side building, I managed to fit about 9 to 10 cars right here diagonally in a nice slant that looked pretty good. So when customers would drive up the road, I'd have all my cars right here pointed in their direction at a slant with window stickers with information. They'd show up and they'd see their car sitting right there. And that was basically my front line right here. This is it. This place brings back good memories. I mean, it paid my mortgage for years and years and years. It paid for me to go on vacations. It paid for my kids' sports. That's why I still have it. It's been good to me. And I bought the entire building because of it. So guys, I hope this video was helpful. If it was, do me a favor, give me a thumbs up down below so more people get to see this video. If you love anything auto-related, business-related, money-related, make sure to hit the subscribe button. I think right here, or like right here. Other thing, Flying Wheels merch, link down below. Amazon card for everything we buy and use, link down below. You can follow me on Instagram at flying_wheels_. Thanks a lot, everybody. I'll see you later. Adios.